Hi, this is Philip Diab, and I'm speaking with you from the United Arab Emirates. I'm excited to host this talk show session highlighting an amazing PMO success story. I've been involved in a variety of strategy and transformation roles over the past 20 years. And within project management in specific, I have a strong passion around PMOs and their ability to deliver business results and success for organizations. I wanted to explore with you basically a critical success story of the Dubai Customs PMO. Let me share a little bit about Dubai Customs and the PMO, and then we'll introduce our guests. Dubai Customs is one of the oldest governmental departments in the UAE, with over 3,000 employees. Its main mission is to effectively manage Dubai sea, air, land, and borders to protect the United Arab Emirates society and facilitate trade. Dubai Customs possesses an average of 40,000 transactions per day and has achieved 97% customer happiness index. It presents an amazing story, both of success and innovation. The PMO journey, which started 10 years ago, has evolved over the years from a supportive role to one that drives transformation. Its critical pillars include demand management, portfolio management, PMO, and project delivery. Currently, it governs a portfolio of approximately 87 million dirhams, which have delivered a variety of solutions and achieved remarkable business results. And in end, it also provided business results around custom revenue protection and revenue generation and cost savings. The PMO submission was truly outstanding and world-class. I'd like you to meet two key people behind this success story. Mr. Yousif Alawadhi, who is the Director of Project Delivery Department, and Mr. Basel Al Bishtawi, Head of Project Portfolio Management Section. Instead of taking kind of a traditional approach to the introduction, where they tell you about kind of their academic background and their qualifications, which I'm sure you can read on LinkedIn, I thought we'd kind of take a unique approach to this and ask them an unusual question. So, Yousif, let's start with you. Tell me, what do you do outside work that you find most useful and helpful to enhancing and improving your project management skills?
Hello, everybody, and thank you for the hosting. In fact, I do have a very good hobby, which really helped me in my project management. I love to travel a lot. I have visited around 55 countries around the world so far. And when it's come to travel, you have to plan and you have to choose your destinations. And then you have to select your travel mate too. You have to put a plan for your sightseeing. And then once you come back again, you say, did it went well or no? What kind of problem did I face? So I don't have to repeat that problem again. It's really reminding me of the process in project management. Once you have a project, you have to create a plan, you have to select your team, and then you have to put the objective of this project, and then you start to implement. And then once you close the project, you really have to do listening. What went wrong, and what went right. So it's similar to the both processes. And
Is there a particular place that you liked visiting, like country or region in the world?
I love to go to Norway.
Oh, fantastic!
Beautiful country.
So I think you like the cold weather as compared to the UAE weather.
Yes, opposite way.
So how about you? Do you like to travel also?
I'm sorry?
Do you like to travel as well?
Yeah, actually, it's also my hobby. I traveled almost to most of the countries of the world, whether for pleasure or for work. Actually, I used to implement projects also overseas. And one thing I would like to add to what Mr. Yousif was saying, traveling is good to understand different cultures. And understanding culture is a very important factor for the successful success of the project. Because the project is not about only methodologies, processes, and practices. It's also about understanding the culture where your project is being implemented. So that this travel in different countries of the world, in Africa, South America, and working on projects in these countries helped me a lot in to build up the knowledge about different type of cultures and how to execute projects in different way.
It's interesting. I think all of us on this talk show like to travel, and maybe we're kind of feeling a bit isolated in this kind of current environment where there's limited travel. And it's kind of hard, it seems these days, to kind of talk about anything, whether it's project management related or otherwise, that doesn't kind of bring COVID to the forefront and the devastating impact on the lives of people and the victims of COVID. And it's really been an eye-opening experience in terms of that impact. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that it has also had an interesting dynamic in terms of different sectors in the UAE as far as organizations and how they basically deal with work from home versus work from the office. And even organizations who were staunch opponents to remote work were forced to kind of embrace different ways of working and really deal with the challenge of people not being able to get around. And I'm curious, what changed for your organization and the PMO in terms of holding people accountable and ensuring that they got to their work and they got their work done to delivering projects in this type of environment?
Okay. In fact, it's good to mention over here that this pandemic, which everyone considers as a negative, I think there is a positive side of it too. Here in UAE, we have the HR law, which give certain cases to work from home even before the pandemic. So looking to this area, there are three pillars. There is people, process, and technology. If we look back to our environment, thanks God, we were very equipped with the latest technology. We have cooperative tools set up like VMware, VPN, Team, Outlook, Skype for Business, all was there. And since these exist and the process exist too, it was really very easy for us to monitor since we have a very sophisticated project management tool. We could have set a plan, add tasks to the employee, monitor them even from home, from everywhere. So it was very easy for us to manage the employee. And maybe Mr. Basel, since he's the portfolio manager, he want to mention something about how we reprioritize the projects.
Right. Thank you, Yousif. Basically, yes, one of the main impact on of the COVID-19, which is like any other organization in the world, our current projects will get impacted. Now, the way we utilized this issue basically is to look at the priority of the current projects. Now, priority somehow has changed. So basically, when we plan our projects and we prioritize the projects, we consider different factors like the strategic alignment, how strong it's connected to our strategy, the ease of implementation. Those are the usual factors we consider when we score the projects and give it priorities. This time, we added the COVID-19 situation as one of the factors that could impact the priority of the projects. Means what? There are a few projects that can support this situation. Any project that will help reducing customer visits to the counters, for example, a paperless type of project, for example. These type of projects somehow they support the COVID situation, so they somehow get a higher priority considering this situation. So our even prioritization mechanism has changed to adapt to this situation.
Interesting, and that in itself sounds like kind of an agile approach to continually refine and improve your evaluation criteria. Fascinating.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about in terms of kind of to continue that line of thinking. When we're thinking about kind of stumbling blocks that project managers face in terms of linking project success and delivering business results. You talked about the selection criteria. Maybe can you share experience around how projects and programs within Dubai Customs were able to effectively kind of balance delivering with excellence on the one hand, from a project management perspective, in terms of meeting schedules, meeting deadlines, meeting budget, but also meeting business results. How did that happen within the construct of your overall portfolio and the PMO in Dubai Customs?
Right. Actually, all of our projects are business results oriented. So from the beginning, we focus on the objectives of what objectives that project will achieve and what strategic objectives or business benefits that project will achieve. Actually, when we measure the success of the project, the achievement of these business results is one of the major factors to indicate whether the project is successful or not. Uh, so we have so many examples of successful projects or programs where it was considered a successful project from the project management perspectives, in case on delivery on time, on budget, on quality, and at the same time achieving remarkable results for the business. I recall, for example, the Economic Authorized Program, AEO, the Authorized Economic Operator Program, so AEO. It's one of the major programs that were executed through our department, which has an impact on the trade facilitation, not only in Dubai or United Arab Emirates, even in the region and globally as well. Quick identification, authorized economic operator means a voluntary program that allows customers to register as authorized operators, and they go through the authorization process, basically. So they become a trusted customer to Dubai Customs. This customer, once it's trusted, basically they will get additional benefits or ease implementation of his import or export or faster movement of his goods. Now, the program also includes a mutual agreement between United Arab Emirates and other countries where our authorized operator becomes an authorized operator for them as well. So becomes a trusted client for the other country. So it will cover both like the export and import sides of that customer. This program was successfully implemented. It included multiple projects actually. It covered the areas of like people process technology. The outcome was at the people side, the establishment of a new organization unit with roles and responsibilities, job descriptions. Completely, it's a new type of business for customs as well. And it was not only for Dubai Customs, for all UAE actually. Delivering, establishing new processes and procedures for the AEO, developing new systems, and so on. So that was a good example of how this type of projects and programs created a balance between the success of project aspects and the business development as well.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, it's fascinating that you're talking about this, and it sounds like a great success story. A lot of what I'm hearing also is about kind of culture change, right? Because anytime you're implementing a new business or a new organization, it requires a lot of change management and culture change. You know, Yousif, one of my favorite sayings by Peter Drucker is, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast every day." And when you think about culture, what elements of the Dubai Customs culture as an organization, and if I remember correctly, you've been with the organization for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What are some of these aspects that supported the success of the PMO, and what can be kind of taken into consideration in terms of things that needed to be overcome to ensure that the PMO continues to be successful?
In fact, one of the most important culture in the organization is open door. Open door between the higher management and the employees, which really which really remove the barriers between the project managers and the higher management. Go there, talk, express about their feeling, share with them the knowledge, share with them the experience that they will gain, share with them if there is a risk they have to mitigate. So the open door culture was very, very successful in Dubai Custom. And uh, it's and the other one is the innovation area. Everyone would love to innovate over there. Everyone should have to come with an idea. We have in the internet, even a website, allowed people to access the internet and put their ideas. So these ideas can be implemented later. So this kind of culture created a very strong team within the organizations.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting you talk about the open door policy. Is that different than other organizations that you've seen or experienced in your career as far as that ability to access executives and engage them?
Actually, I have been through different government department, and I have seen the same concept there. However, it's a little bit over there more formal, where you can have to sit and schedule an appointment before you go. But here, you can even knock a door and you come in.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I used to work at IBM many years ago, when I first joined, somebody was telling me, they were giving me the sequence of escalation. First, you talk to your peer. If they don't respond, then you go to your manager. Your manager will talk to his or her peer. And if they don't respond, then so it's a very kind of a different way of doing things than maybe this open door kind of policy approach. And you talk about culture, and obviously, in the UAE, for those who are familiar, we live in a very cosmopolitan type of environment where we have people from different nationalities, different backgrounds. I've worked in organizations that employ 100 different nationalities with people who speak different languages, up to 20 languages. I remember the first time I went to a construction site, I was surprised to find that you have different labor crews where the engineer might speak in one language, and then the supervisor or the labor head would translate into different languages to ensure that communication happened. And we're in an environment where you have individuals who may not speak the native language of Arabic or English as their native language. How does Dubai Customs leverage that unique diversity, and are there any interesting challenges that it presents in particular to the PMO?
In fact, we have around 200 nationality in UAE work in harmony together with no issues, and they work in a public sector and government sector, both sector. It is an opportunity actually for Dubai Custom to have these kind of people, because different culture, it gives you more experience and more opportunity to innovate new things. However, I think it is very important to have your processes, your policies clear for everyone, since you have this much diversity. But at the end, everyone work and everyone is happy over here. And we are very glad to have them all over here.
Great. Yeah, it's been, for me, the journey started over 10 years ago. And I think that like many, you start with flying in and flying out. With me, it was around 2006. And then a few years later, we moved the family, we came over here. And it is a very unique environment, as compared to, for example, a place like in the US, where I've worked for and lived for many years, where, there's a single dominant language, and not nearly that, certainly diversity in terms of maybe ethnic backgrounds, but not the same way in terms of the different regions, different foods, different cultures. And one particular story that I found very interesting, even within native English-speaking communities, you find nuances. One time I was in a meeting, and we had an American colleague who said that we should table a topic for the time being. And then our British colleague immediately jumped and started talking about it. And I realized that the concept of tabling an issue in a meeting is totally different, between an American English versus a British English. In British English, being that you want to talk about it, versus the American English is just, put it aside on a parking lot and come back. And it's just interesting to see these cultural dynamics, at play in work situations. Basel, one of the things that fascinated me about the success story of the PMO is looking at the success rate, and specifically the success rate of projects. And your data showed that 80 to 85% of projects came in on time, within budget. And that's just an amazing track record. And can you tell us a little bit about how was that achieved, and what are some of the critical success factors that enabled that to be achieved within the organization?
Right. I see that one of the most critical factors for this type of results in Dubai Customs is strong ownership by either the project owners or project sponsors, which help a lot in the successful of many projects. We have several type of committees that are monitoring the projects, whether financially or progress-wise. The major committee that we have, the Customs Development Committee. Customs Development Committee is represented by the top executive directors in Dubai Customs, basically, and they have one monthly meeting where they review, approve, and review the status of our projects. Actually, all our projects has to be presented to them, starting from the idea all the way to the closure. They review the benefits that achieved by projects and so on. Having this type of committee represented by the top management of the Dubai Customs gives a remarkable support to our projects when an issue is raised or a risk is happening. Each project, on top of that, like each project has its own steering committee where they go further details about the project. And the steering committee mostly is chaired by the sponsor of that project. The commitment of the owners and the sponsors to the project give us a huge support that we can achieve our project successfully. The owner is always there. He knows all the details of the project. He's always available. In case there's an issue, it's raised ahead of time, and we mitigate the risk ahead of time before it happens. Other factors I see, we have an effective portfolio management, where the project is analyzed throughout the execution of the project and mainly on the financial part. The cash flow plans are frequently revised and optimized in case there's a delay. So to reach like a maximum utilization of the budget performance. We have a robust business cases, robust project plans that where you cannot, for example, exceed the spending on a project because it's limited by the approved business case. Otherwise, you have to go through a change request process, which has to go through the steering committee, approved by sponsor, and so on. So all these factors together basically supported this type of achievement.
It's really good to hear you telling us some of these important practices. I was afraid you're going to tell us something similar to an old customer of mine who used to say that we set the baseline after the project is finished, and that way we can always meet the scope and the timeline and all that budgetary elements. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that good sponsorship and as a practice definitely enhances the chances of success. Now, Basel, I think when we talked briefly earlier about the PMO and about Dubai Customs, I think you've been around for quite a while now, and
right.
You're part of the journey from the very beginning. I'm curious if you can share with us what particularly are you most proud of in terms of the PMO accomplishments through the years?
Well, there are so many aspects we are proud of in our project delivery. We did very well with the team and everybody, and our project management practices continuously is developing as we move on. So we didn't reach the end. We keep reviewing and improving. One thing that comes to my mind that which we are really proud of is our benefit management practices. Our benefit management practices were internally developed. Were benchmarked by APMG, the Association of Project Management Group, which is the party in charge, looks after the benefit management concept worldwide. And it was assessed by them. And actually, we were received like an advanced practice maturity level 4, which is considered one of the top 20 of the organization worldwide to achieve that type of level in the benefit management area, in the benefit management module. Not only that, our practices in the benefit management were endorsed globally in many publications, actually. There are many books that talk about our benefit management practices, like the Project Management Best Practices book. We have the Handbook of Portfolio Management, Innovation Project Management books. They're available worldwide. And they talk specifically about our benefit management practices in Dubai Customs as a role model and a successful model.
Certainly something to be very proud of. In my experience, many organizations are probably at the beginning of the journey in terms of benefits realization, capturing benefits, and holding project and program stakeholders accountable to the benefits in the business case that they lay out. So I'm glad to kind of hear more about benefits management, benefits realization. I'm curious, do you leverage any particular tools, or is that done kind of manually? How does that factor into keeping track of them, especially since a lot of projects might finish long before the benefits are completely realized?
Right. Well, this is the main strength of our benefit management model. Typically, when a project is closed, there's no more project manager, there's no project team to look after that project. We have our demand management section who work together hand by hand with the business who are receiving that product or services out of that project to continuously coordinate with the business to continuously measure the benefits. Now, it's not like we ask the business to just go and measure the benefits. The benefits are identified ahead of time. And each type of benefit, how it will be measured, and what's the frequency of measuring it, and what the tool to measure that benefit. Some benefits that could be measured as simply as getting a report from a system, for example. Some benefits has to be measured maybe to get information from HR department. If we talk, for example, about cost saving or increase of the efficiency of the employees somehow. So it's not. We always have a plan with all the delivered projects, closed projects as such. And at the time when the specific benefits to be measured, we communicate with the business. We ask them, please measure the benefit, give us the results. Our role is to consolidate all these achieved benefits and create a dashboard that we will submit it to our top management. One important benefit or basically achievement out of this practice, which is very important, I see. We give the confidence to the top management who approved an investment on a specific project that whatever benefits we promised you at the business case time is being achieved. So it's not just when we go with the business case and we'll say this project will achieve this much ROI, this much benefit, and they approve the budget for that project, then we forget about it. After the achievement, we'll tell them, we promised you to achieve this benefit, and here you go. This is what we are achieving. Yes, please.
That's very important. I think that when you kind of consider benefits realization, and maybe at a kind of a broader level, the role of methodology, I think that, I was talking with you before, Yousif, about the methodology that was developed, and I was struck by the model that kind of embraces and fuses hybrid approaches, whether it's, fundamental principles of planning along with some agile capabilities. And I know you're particularly proud of the methodology, and rightly so, in terms of the adoption. Can you talk a little bit about the process that you went through in terms of establishing the methodology and why it worked so well? Maybe you can describe a little bit about the methodology, if you like.
Yeah, sure, for sure. In fact, we have looked through we have looked internationally what is the best practice is available in the market. We have reviewed the PMI methodology. We have reviewed the IBM Ascendist methodology, and we analyze all these methodologies, and we compare all these methodology with the processes that we have in the ground in Dubai Custom, and we find out there are some gaps between the methodology, international methodology, the best practice, and our processes internally. So we thought about it, why we don't adapt some of those processes. However, we need to customize a little bit those processes to fit our environment. And we did. And then after we built our internal methodology, we seek for opinion expert from Gartner, and we show them the methodology. They give us some good feedback. It was incorporated at that time. And we didn't stop at that level. What we have done is we took a small project and we start to apply the methodology, which consists of 4 phases and different type of stages: discovery, initiation, execution, and closure. And each one of those phases has a different type of stages. We apply it in the small project, and we find some little bit to be tuned here and there, and we did the job. We add for each stage of this phases a template, standard template. So everyone use that template. They have to use that template, and they don't use anything else. So template like statement of work, template like charter, template like feasibility study, business case is available. You just have to
Did you find any resistance to using these templates? Sometimes in my career, I've seen a lot of resistance to people not wanting to use templates, especially maybe when they don't understand how to, use it properly or fill it out and whatnot.
Yes, actually, what we have done is that we have put some checkpoint after each stage to make sure that the project manager, they don't skip the stages. So once he's done from feasibility study, he cannot move to the detailed scoping unless he has a checkpoint over there. The PMO office go there and make sure that it's compliant. So this way it started to push, and then we start to show them the benefit of the methodology itself, how it will help you, how it save your time instead of rewriting things again. And then they were very cooperative in that term.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that much resistance.
Fantastic. Now, I'm curious on the flip side of things, and Basel, you talked about the importance of continuous improvement and learning. Is there any lesson learned through the years when it came to establishing and running the PMO that surprised you, that was kind of surprising in terms of the overall organization?
Well, actually, there are always lessons learned. The more we improve, the more of lessons learned we see, and we keep improving our way of working, our methodologies. I remember like one of the issues we had before, and it was surprising maybe to us, or we realized that issue afterwards. When we do prioritization for the projects, we do it based on how strategically it's aligned, how important that project is. So every year we do this scoring and prioritization, and we realize that there are those type of projects not really attached to the core strategic objectives of the corporation, but yet they are needed, like back office type projects. Now, every time we do prioritization, this type of projects, they always get lower score and they were never prioritized. Then come the next year and so on, the next year and so on. Then we realized, like, no, we cannot do that. We cannot keep ignoring these type of projects. Then we thought about it. Then we decided, okay, we'll not do prioritization for all the projects together. We classify the projects. We do segmentation of these projects, and we prioritize the projects within each category, and we define a portion that we divide the investment over these segments. For example, a security projects will get maybe 40% of the investment. Trade facilitation will get 30%. Yet we keep some investment for those type of projects. At least they get a chance, and that again improved our prioritization process and give a chance to these projects at least to be executed.
It's very interesting. You're talking about this. It reminds me of a case that happened to me in one of the organizations I worked with, where we were seeing the same type of thing. The departments would come in with, or at the division level, they would come in with their projects for prioritization, and then the sales team who always, had ambitious goals to achieve. Because they have the numbers, they always got their projects approved. But the operational team ended up not being able to get any of their projects approved. And in the end, customer satisfaction, suffered significantly because, you had a robust approach in terms of the front end, but then in terms of actually serving the customers, the organization never ended up kind of doing any work in terms of the projects that enhance the back office systems and the operation systems. So I definitely can identify with that. Is there any particular time within that journey when you're thinking about the lessons learned and the experiences where in the lifespan of the PMO, was there a period that was kind of more exciting than the other in terms of, do you feel like, and a lot of project managers may feel like, that initial startup phase might be most exciting, a lot more exciting maybe than the operational type of aspects. I'm curious, in your journey, which part of that journey seemed most exciting?
I would say maybe at the beginning when we established the PMO office, actually, maybe the main reason why the PMO office was established is the kickoff of the reform and modernization program in Dubai Customs, which is like the most important program that was executed through the PMO office. Reform and modernization means to move the customs in total, the whole customs business from one generation to another generation. So basically, this program included so many projects covering people, process, technology, and the objective was to create a new operating model for customs, a new processes, a new organizational structure, completely new systems. So the RMP, the Reform and Modernization Program, was one of the very exciting programs that achieved in Dubai Customs. Quick background why such a program was very important. Dubai went through a very fast development and growth, which of course the economy was developing very fast. The movement of goods developed, and it's increasing year by year. Now, for Dubai Customs to continue achieving their tasks as they used to, with this huge increase in volumes, they would need, instead of 3,000 employees, they have to have minimum 15,000 employees to continue doing the same service in the same manner, which is, of course, cannot be done. Then the top management, they thought, no, we have to do a full reform to adapt with this growth, actually, maintaining the same number of employees. So this is how important this program is. And it was successfully executed and achieved, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're talking about capabilities and people in particular. We all know that project management is a people discipline, and PMOs are about teams. Yousif, as a key leader in the organization driving this effort, are there specific roles in the PMO that you find most useful? And what potential roles might you have not planned for that you end up finding vital to the overall journey of the PMO?
Frankly speaking, all the roles are very important to me. Small, big.
Very diplomatic.
As long as they do the job, I'm very happy with them. And they complete each other, actually. But during the journey, we found out that the need of a practice manager is important. A practice manager who looks on the policies, look on the compliance of the project, look on the international standard and how we can adopt some of the new standards. His role was actually introduced lately, but it was very, very, very significant. Even though we give him more than his role, where he train people on the new practice, share awareness with the employees. So I think practice manager, it was a very helpful. What do you think, Basel? Do you think so?
I agree, yes. You need someone who will do, our project managers are busy executing projects. So you need someone who will help them to explore more, to see what's new in the market, and help them in that, and give them awareness on new techniques to be used.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
very important role, yes, in our design.
It's interesting as we talked about the scope of your PMO and the governance approach. There are several elements that kind of struck me when it comes to monitoring, auditing, project delivery, the methodology building. As I reflect on this, in my experience, I found that a PMO that kind of tries to both be your friend and your auditor sometimes can face a credibility issue. It's almost like the tax authority who comes and says, I'm here to help. And you know what the end result is, it's just give me your money, basically.
Yes.
So I'm curious, how do you kind of balance that? And what did you do to kind of overcome this difference in roles between auditor and project management champion within the organization?
I used to work in an environment where nobody wants to see the auditor. Trying to run away from that person. And everyone is giving information not related to what he wants. But when I came to the Dubai Custom, I noticed that introducing a new practice is good. So we introduced the peer review instead of auditor. A peer review is a champion from, we don't call it auditor, we call it champion, a peer review who sit with the project manager in each stage of the project and review with him. Is he the compliance, what was wrong, how he can support him, how he can share with him some knowledge so he cannot move to other stage without complete all these requirements. At the end of the phase, whereas the phase exit, he's almost done everything. So people start to love that idea. And instead of fighting with the auditor, now they make a friendship with the peer review. What do you think, Basel? Do you think it works?
Right. Yes, no, it worked very well actually. I totally agree with Philip what he's saying. We had that issue before where like there's this clash or between the audit, not the auditors, the assessors or the PMO office and the project managers. Now implementing what Mr. Yousif was saying created a different culture. We converted those auditors to be in a supportive role rather than an auditing role. To be a friend rather than a policeman who will just come and audit, and we asked them to support the project managers in case of there's non-compliance somehow here and there. You help him to be compliant, not just tell him you are not compliant, and it worked well actually.
It's interesting. Yousif's example reminds me when I first started my project management career. I remember I joined the company in the US. And on my first day on the job, we were walking by an office with a guy sitting in that office. And I asked my manager who that person was. And she said, oh, don't worry, he's with the IRS. He's an auditor. Nobody talks to him. I said, well, how long has he been here? She said, well, I think he's been here for 15 years, but we don't know. Nobody talks to him. So I can generally identify with what you're saying.
Yes.
I want to just kind of shift. We talked a lot about strong involvement and support in terms of executive champions. And Yousif, you talked about innovation. This mantra of fail fast and fail early seems to be being more and more embraced by organizations. And we hear stories from a variety of organizations that experimentation is very important, creating that safe environment for projects, for people to be comfortable and not be afraid of failing. Within the context of Dubai Customs, and specifically related to the PMO, do you feel like that you guys have created that safe environment for failure? Is there room to fail? And is that considered okay? Is it celebrated? Is it punished? How do you kind of deal with that? And can you think of ways that maybe projects that failed actually benefited the organization in the long
run? The question to
Go ahead, jump in there, yeah.
Okay. Well, now when we talk about failure of project, there are different reasons or different ways of measuring that if the project is a failure or success. For us, like one factor that will indicate the success or failure of project is the achievement of the objective of the project. So you complete a project, it's completed maybe on budget or on time, and yet it's not achieving the objective of it. So that's for us a failure, actually, even if you close the project, right? Another factor could be a typical classical delivery on time, on budget, on quality type of measurement, which will indicate the failure or success of the project. And the third one could be through outstanding circumstances beyond our capabilities. So those are the main three areas where we could see if the project is a failure or a success. If we talk about the first one, the achievement of the objectives, yes, it happens. You deliver the project, you close it, then it's not achieving the objectives. Through our benefit management model, we continue to monitor these benefits, as I mentioned before, and we see sometimes that those benefits are not being achieved as it was planned. Now, we look at the root cause. So it's a failure, but it's not like a failure that we forget about. It's a failure, we want to turn it to success in this case. Look at the root cause, why these benefits are not being achieved, and fix those issues to move it to the, what we call it the harvest quadrant, means to make it from not achieving the objectives to achieving the objectives. So we converted that failure to a success. When it comes to delivery on time, on budget, through a robust monitoring and continuous monitoring of the project progress, the ownership, all the factors I mentioned earlier, those are the factors that you can overcome those failures and so on.
Great. I mean, I like the concept of harvesting because it's basically taking something, learning from it, and retrofitting to kind of drive innovation and that continuous learning. We're almost out of time, and I have another 15 more questions that I wanted to ask. Maybe Yousif, we can give you the last word. I'm curious, talk to us a little bit, maybe for the next 30 seconds, around communities of practice and their importance. Are there any obstacles that you face? Because building that community of practice seems to be an important element in the success of the PMO.
In fact, one of the obstacles we found that spreading the knowledge of project management between the business users. Mm-hmm. All the users, all the business users, they are involved daily in their own operations. So what we have done is that we created a free classes on project management, and we encourage those people to come to these classes. We told them that come join these classes. If you know project management, later on when you build your own houses, you can even use this practice, or you want to do your business, you can use the project management. So little by little, they start to understand that project management is important. So once we go there to implement any project, we start to talk in the same language. They start to understand what planning, what executions, what risk, how we mitigate the risk. So that kind of things, it happen in the organizations. Now it's very easy. If you visit Dubai Customs, you will see most of people, they speak like a project managers, but they are not project managers.
I remember when I first started in project management, building the house was probably the most used example in how to structure a project. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking with you today and learning about the fantastic work that Dubai Customs has done, and in particular the PMO. Again, as I said, it's a world-class story, and I wish you the best of luck and continued success, and look forward to continuing to stay in touch and hear your news as we go along. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks. I think so. That's pretty much it. So have a great day, everybody, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.